to participate. And we will be patient if we need to be.
Got it. Well, welcome. I'm Saul Corin. I'm the Director of Donor Engagement and Philanthropy here at the Middleman Jewish Community Center and Portland Jewish Academy. I am also the delegation head for Team Oregon. Hopefully going to both Israel and Fort Lauderdale this year, which means my summer is going to be very busy. I am going to share a PowerPoint and take it from there. So, one second, I'll be right back. Let me handle this. Let's try that one more time. Okay, can you see that? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. Let's do. Okay. It doesn't seem to want to let me do it. Team Oregon, thanks for being here. I introduced myself. Last year was my first Maccabi games, although I think when I was a kid, my parents hosted some Maccabi athletes one of the years when it was in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. What is JCC Maccabi? It's the largest gathering of Jewish youth in the world. 2,000 plus Jewish teens youth every year, 60 or so delegations from across the US, Canada, Israel, Europe, and Latin America, and over 100,000 alumni since 1982. And this picture was from the opening ceremonies in...
we can only see the title screen.
You are not
following along.
You are still on this page, is what you're saying.
I see the Team Oregon green logo. That's what I see.
Do you see this now? Hold on, let's try this one more time. Hold on. So you still see the green screen. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. All right, let's figure this out. Hold on. Oh, PowerPoint, always being fun.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't minimize. So this is where I think I am. That may be where I am. All right, so wait. Now do you see white?
Now you're not sharing anything.
Okay, now I'm not sharing anything. All right, let's do that too. All right. Okay, what do you see?
Yay.
All right.
Good enough.
Okay. Right, 100,000 alumni. So this is from the opening ceremonies, and that lovely volunteer decided to stand right in front of our picture. But the opening ceremonies were really exciting. Goldberg from the WWE came and presented about why it's important to be Jewish and why it's important to be to be leaders, and it was very interesting. Okay. Did the screen change? Good. Okay. It's a premier Jewish experience beyond sports. JCC Cares are social action projects. Depending on what sport you play, there's a lot of hang time, social and cultural programming led by Shlichim, opening and closing ceremonies, evening social and cultural events, Munich 11 commemoration, connections to Jewish teens across North America, and the Midot, which are the values of the JCC Maccabi games. Asaf, what was Noam's experience doing when Noam came back? What was his experience of the games?
Overall, great.
Good. We'll take overall great. This year, there are two options for the games. Maccabi is, as of July, that should work then. 1,000 visiting athletes, 14 to 17 for Israel. Sports are baseball, basketball, ice hockey, girls volleyball, girls and boys flag football, soccer, tennis, swimming, and dance. There will be 8 days in Haifa, and then a 12-day Israel tour through a sports lens, hotel and hostel accommodations, and as we discussed, lots beyond sports. And then for JCC Maccabi in Fort Lauderdale, 1,500 visiting athletes, 300 local, 12 to 16 as of July 31st. Baseball, basketball, 3-on-3 basketball and 5-on-5, ice hockey, volleyball, co-ed football, lacrosse, soccer, star reporter, table tennis, swimming, and dance. Maccabi gains an access, home hospitality, and accommodation, and more beyond sport.
What's Star Reporter?
I have a question.
I have a question.
You can ask questions, that's fine. Star reporter is that you would be like a reporter on the games.
Okay.
If that's something you're interested in, if you write for a school paper or you're involved. Maccabi games, so July 5th, 25th, day 1 is travel, day 2 arrive in Israel, check into the Olympic Village, orientation, welcome event. Day 3, practices and trainings, Kabbalat Shabbat. Day 4, you'll spend Shabbat. Day 5, sports competition or practices, opening ceremonies. Days 6 to 9 are sports. And then basically 12 days of a JCC Maccabi Israel tour, which includes the North, Tel Aviv, Southern Israel, and Jerusalem. And then Fort Lauderdale, and I'm sorry that this is small. On August 6th, we'll have to see how the flights work. It may be that we actually fly on the 4th or the 5th, but we'll figure that out as we get closer. Travel orientation, meet the host families, check in for accommodations, maybe the opening ceremonies, or if not, JCC cares. August 7th is round robin competitions, hang time, and then an evening social event. August 8th will be more round robins, hang time, and an evening social event. August 9th will be the actual games and competitions will start, and those will be the beginning of medal rounds, and hang time will be open and then more social. And then August 10th, athletic competitions and medal ceremonies, and then the closing ceremonies will be at the JCC. And participants will not return to Baltimore, they will return to Portland, unless you really want to go to Baltimore, we can figure that out. Eligibility, all athletes must be Jewish, defined as following. One of the athlete's parents is Jewish and the athlete is being raised Jewish. And the rest of it is commentary. In Israel, folks will be in hostels and dorms. The first 8 days will be in one village, and then 2 weeks of travel. Fort Lauderdale, 5 nights with the local Jewish family. This past year in San Diego, actually, all of the Team Maccabi, the Team Oregon boys were in dorms at the University of San Diego. I think Fort Lauderdale should have enough houses to house people. It was also, an ever-changing landscape with COVID, if you remember, during the summer. So they will have some option as a backup if they don't, because as you might imagine with with an event of this, the logistics are insane. And they were able to put 500 teens in dorms over like 2 weeks. They kind of made the decision and moved it into the dorms. These are the sports. And so swimming would be in Fort Lauderdale, and Israel would have 5-on-5 basketball. And COVID policies, proof of vaccination required for all delegation heads, coaches, chaperones, athletes, and eligible host families, and ongoing review of all policies and procedures. If you see, each of the kids around their necks has credentials, which lets folks know who should be part of the games and who shouldn't be part of the games. The host communities are in partnership with law enforcement on levels local, state, and federal. There's a 1-to-8 ratio at all times with coaches and staff, and coaches and delegation heads are all responsible for the supervision of the athletes. There are opportunities for spectators at both sets of games. Spectators need credentials, and then when everybody is part of Maccabi, they are part of the Maccabi system. So if your parent, if you come and watch the game, you can obviously cheer your kid on, but your kid is part of the games. So here's how Israel works. Israel is a $4,500 trip. It's actually a $7,500 trip, but there is a $3,000 scholarship that's available from Route 1 for folks who are interested in going to Israel. So basically, the student will have to do some pre-homework, kind of connecting with Israel and their Jewish experience, and they'll get a $3,000 scholarship towards that. There's also an 18% Jewish Federation scholarship and another scholarship available from the Jewish Community Foundation. So there is money available, and then there will be need-based financial aid available as well. And contact me. And then Fort Lauderdale is, total cost is $1,600, and there will be, there is financial aid available if you're interested. What does the cost cover? Everything. Flight, tournament fees, transportation during the week, uniforms, swag, social events, food, a little bit of everything.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So let's assume that we're traveling with the family to Israel around the same time. Can we, for example, fund the flights and get a discount on this price if we're already in Israel?
That I don't know.
Okay.
So do you mean that you would take the cost of the flight out for Asaf?
For Noam.
No, I'm sorry, right,
Yeah.
you're Asaf. So I know that there will be specific pieces to it. I can't answer right now what
I'm just asking, right, if you can look into that, because we had plans to travel to Israel next year. Maybe we can make everything works together. That's what I'm thinking.
Right.
Okay.
So we have 10 spots for Israel and 8 spots for Florida. And right now we're at a first come first served basis in terms of signups. So the sooner folks get signed up, you will have a spot, and then we will figure out next steps and make sure that we have all of our teams. Once you decide to sign up, you can complete the payment on the JCC website. We'll be using RegPack and CampDoc, and I will email the link to you. I wouldn't say it's the easiest system, but it is navigatable. I learned a lot about it towards the end. It was somewhat confusing, but I figured it out. And then, if we're able to have practices, we will do that in advance. Swimming, that's probably less of a concern. We're not doing tryouts. By February 10th, all the Reg Pack stuff has to be done. By June 1st, the medical forms will have to be done. And then we will, follow up with all the payments, etc. Questions? Ziva?
How many people are usually on a team?
So I think with, last year we only had 5 kids. That's the team that we brought to San Diego last year. In the past, we had 17 kids and 18 kids. So this year, our plan is to have 10 kids for Israel and 8 kids for Fort Lauderdale from Oregon. In your case, Ziva, you would be likely part of a swimming competition with kids from all over the country.
Tell me about host families, and I know that you said there's a 1-to-8 ratio I imagine for safety reasons.
Right.
What are the ratios? Like, can one person stay with a host family, or do they always have more than one athlete with them?
Usually it's 2 to 4.
Okay.
Usually it's 2 to 4. So we had the 4 boys in the dorm last year, and then Sarah, who was our tennis player, was with a host family. She got partnered up with a new friend that she made from New Orleans, and they had a blast. It was a different. This was the first time they had ever had a dorm experience, so they have a lot of practice with this. And there are a lot of Jews in Southern Florida, so I don't think host families will be an issue this year. But we shall see. They will have backup plans.
Perfect.
Yeah, and then it's a 1-to-8 ratio. We had 5 with, I wasn't coaching because I had to be available in case anything happened. So Fred was our basketball coach, and then he was also our basically he was our tennis coach too, even though I in theory was coaching tennis. But I hadn't played tennis since I was 12, so I don't think I was very helpful. But Fred was.
Perfect. Well, how would that work if Ziva is swimming? She's she's affiliated with USA Swimming. She's on a club team. So she knows what she's doing, and she always has a coach with her. But what would you need from us in terms of that? Or does it matter? Is it sports are sort of awesome?
I think it will depend on how many swimmers we have. Like if we have 4 swimmers who want to go, then we will likely have a coach for swimming. If not, we will partner up with another delegation and figure out a swim coach in some way.
Okay. I think. Go ahead and ask that question. I think it's Mela.
Oh.
Go
Are
ahead,
there
Stephen.
prizes? What are the prizes if you win?
So there are medals, and I will go back because there was a picture that had some medals on it if I can find it. There are 2 types of medals in the Maccabi games. Here. Nope, those are not the medals. Those are not the medals. So there are 2 types of medals. There's gold, silver, and bronze medals. And then the other medals are, and let me see if I can make that bigger. There are also midot medals for good sportsmanship. So I'm going to make Sarah a little bit wider, which she probably wouldn't appreciate, but this is only being recorded for posterity, so it's not like anybody will know. But so what you see here is the woman on the right got a bronze medal, and Sarah from Team Oregon got a got a Midot medal, which is a medal for good sportsmanship, because she was, she was there, she was ready for her matches. There were some, let's just say there were some other kids who may not have been had the most sports personship, and she was a really good sport about the whole thing. So there are opportunities to either win medals or get medals in different ways. Any other questions? Asaf, if you would send me an email just with like, what you're thinking in terms of, and I can forward it on and take care of that. See what, I mean, we would love to have Noam as part of the program, and I'm sure there's a way to figure it out. I'm just not sure what it is.
Yeah, okay. I still need to talk to him and see if he wants to go. But yeah, I'll send you an email. Thank you.
Sure. Awesome. Great. Any other questions before we go?
I have a quick question. I know that one of the things I read mentioned that kids are prioritized on whether or not they have participated in the past. And I'm wondering if we would wish for Ziva to have this opportunity in Israel. Are we sort of taking ourselves out of that option if she goes to Fort Lauderdale?
No.
Okay.
My sense is, I don't know that they're going to do an Israel trip, that they're going to do Maccabi Israel the next year.
Okay.
This is the first time they've done Israel, I think, since 2007.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that being said, there are a lot of other Israel trips I'd be happy to talk to you about or connect you to the right people. One of my daughters will be going on the BB Camp OJA Israel trip this summer that has that same $3,000 scholarship available. So there are other opportunities to make sure that Ziva can get that experience.
Okay, great. Do you have any other questions?
No, I don't think so.
Anything that you typically get asked that we haven't asked?
I'll be honest, this is the first one of these that I've done. So
Anything you were hoping we were going to ask?
No, I think as a delegation head, there was someone who was in this role who left in April of last year, and the games were in July. So I had a really quick learning curve of like buying swag and doing all this stuff and like taking care of it. I feel like I have a much better handle on all of that right now. As someone who has done a lot of different Israel and Jewish and teen programs and led birthright trips and been a Hillel professional, and it was pretty amazing. The camaraderie and just it was exhausting as someone who's no longer that age and wanted to would have liked to have participated, but those were some of the longest days. They started at 6 a.m. and they went to 11 at night, and I would just crash at the end of the day. And I think the kids certainly had more energy. The students had more energy than me, and definitely kept pushing and did not want to get up when I had to wake them up at 6 a.m. But yeah, it's a really it's an amazing opportunity, and there's really no other place to interact with that many Jews at one time, and to really and for a lot of folks who are not connected to synagogues or Jewish life in different ways, this is their connection, and it's pretty amazing that it's around sports, and there was a lot of pride. So if my kids were athletic at all, I would be hoping they would go, but they're really not.
Cool. Well, okay, so last question. If Ziva goes, will you make swim caps?
Oh,
Will there be a swim cap? She's wondering.
Would you like a swim cap?
Yeah.
Well, she has to have one to swim.
Then yes, you will have a swim calf. Yeah, we, again, that was my last year. I was figuring it all out.
Yeah.
So this year our goal is to upgrade the swag because it was good, but it could be better. But also just make sure that we have anything that folks needed. I mean, for the boys, they had 2 different jerseys, and then they had shorts. For our tennis player, she wanted to wear we got a couple tennis tops, we got her a skirt, all the other stuff that they needed. Everybody got sweatshirts, everybody got pins. This year everybody will get hats, and we'll have some other swag that folks want.
Cool. Do you want, are there other Jewish kids on your swim team? Like, are you
Yes.
seeing interest? Like, are people contacting?
We are definitely seeing interest, but yeah, spread the word. We'd love to have more folks engaged.
Okay.
There's no one else.
There aren't any other Jewish kids?
Teddy.
Well,
He plays
oh.
basketball.
Oh, Teddy, okay. Anyway, we will talk about the children we know who are athletic and.
Yeah, I mean, there's other sports too. I mean, if they're basketball players, we will find spots for them too.
Okay, so you don't have to have like 5 kids. So if our friend Teddy wanted to also join but you don't have 5 other kids from Oregon who play basketball, he would team up with another group. Is that how you do it?
So yeah, what we would do is if we only have, let's say, how old is Teddy?
Teddy's
12.
he might not actually. No, he won't even be. Is he 12 or 11?
No,
He may not
11.
actually be eligible because
He's
he
11.
won't be 12. His birthday's in
He's the
November
youngest.
or September. Anyway, so-
Isaac, he swims.
okay, hold on. Go ahead.
So if we were able to put a full team together, then we would have a team. So last year we had 4 basketball players. So we ended up with a 3-on-3 basketball team.
Okay.
We ended up playing against teams that were, Louisville, Milwaukee, and Saskatchewan. So if we don't have enough players in any one level, then they'll get mixed up with a team of other kids. For Fort Lauderdale, in order to have a 5-on-5 team, we would need to have 8 players.
Okay.
But we only have 10 spots, or we only have 8 spots. So and I'm not going to prioritize. We've got this many of this. If people sign up, I want them to be able to go.
Cool. Okay. And you'll let us know if she is eligible.
I will follow up with you.
Okay.
Let me check on that tomorrow and I'll get back to you.
Okay. Perfect. Cool.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night. Have a good Thanksgiving. And I hope to hear more from you soon. And I will be in touch with both of you in the near future.
Perfect.
Thank
Thank you.
All right.
Good night.
Take care.
Have a good Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Pleasure.